Good morning and welcome to Walking with Watches. Or should I just call it waiting for it to stop raining with watches? I recently went on a bit of a hot date. Don't worry, still talking about watches. And we had a great time. There was drinking, there was going out for dinner, we even went to the beach. Check me out here. What? And we had a great time. It was an amazing G-Shock, here it is. And loved it, we had a lot of fun. But ultimately, I knew it wasn't right for me. So when the time came back to return it to the friend who lent it to me, I wasn't really that sad about it. But fast forward a couple of days and I have had G-Shock on the brain ever since. And I've gone out and pulled the trigger and bought myself a G-Shock. So on today's episode, we're going to get this open, unbox it, and I'm going to tell you why I low-key think that this might actually be one of the best G-Shocks in the catalogue. And I am very, very pleased with this. So come on, let's roll that intro. Let's get this thing unboxed. I've got you for one more minute. If I could ask you if you would just mind hitting that subscribe button. But if I haven't done enough to earn your subscription so far, then please, it would be great if you could hit a like, give a comment, all those things that the algorithm love, which helps bring more attention to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, I'm going to stop begging. Let's keep going. Let's get into the review. Right, let's go. Right, morning folks. So it arrived today, earlier in the post. I was going to wait till tomorrow, wait till I finish work and then do a proper unboxing, but I just couldn't help myself. So I want to get it out of the box this evening. Now, this is the first G-Shock I've had in some time. Last G-Shock I had was probably 10 plus years ago now. Before I was properly a watch guy, it was just a watch I had. I lost it on a trip to Las Vegas with some friends. So this is the first G-Shock I've had, and you'll be seeing it for the first time with me. There was an outer package which I removed because it obviously had my address on it, and it came bubble wrapped thusly. This was stickered for £99.90, but I managed to get it for a discount. I got it for about £70, so it was on offer. So let's get this thing open and see what we're dealing with and see what we got. Right, so here we go. Now, this is not the first G-Shock of this design I've experienced. A good friend of mine actually recently loaned me one. So for those of you waiting for the reveal, there's a bit of a clue. But here we go. It's of the Casio line. And this is their Beach Nights edition. So let's go, we're seeing it for the first time. Oh, how cool is that? Oh, wow. Okay, so it's got this really cool reflective, let me just give that a dust, reflective orange crystal, which combined with the translucent black band. I bought this because I just wanted something a little bit more fun. I had tried on the original all black version, the classic Casio, and I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I was a little bit underwhelmed. At first I thought maybe it was the size or something of that nature which was putting me off, but actually I don't think it was. I think I just wanted something a little bit more, and a bit more, how to say, a little bit more appealing to the eye, a little bit different. And I thought that this reflective crystal that sort of reminds me of a sunglasses lens, although I have similar glass lenses on my sunglasses, but that's what it reminded me of, and I thought that's quite cool for the beach vibe. One of the big criticisms of this watch that I've seen online is the crystals makes it quite hard to read the time. You can see there from the reflections my camera and me. And I can confirm, yeah, it is very reflective. It's slightly opaque, makes it a little difficult to read the time, but not that I think that's a problem, particularly
because it's not that difficult to read the time. After all, it's fairly straightforward, and the watch itself is handsome enough on the translucent black. I like the orange, I like the pop of colour. See if we can catch it on the camera there, the way it catches a reflection. I think that's fun. I think it's playful, and one of the things I like most about G-Shocks is just how playful they really are. All of the equipment and fittings on this is, let's see if we can find focus on it. Yeah, the carbon guard is as you would expect to find it G-Shock. Dimensions are the same, functionality is the same, programming's the same. All of the buttons are in the same format, all of the functionality is the same, the lights in the same place, all that stuff. It's just with a clear black band and of course the orange crystal, which is probably the watch's main appeal. It's supposed to be channeling a beach party vibe, beach nights I think they call it. It's like an evening watch that you'd wear summertime down by the beach. It is a bit late in the summer to be buying a summer watch. It will be August probably by the time you see this video, or possibly later if it does well, but we shall see. I am going to spend a bit of time with it over the next day or two, pull together a proper review and give you some more meaty thoughts. But before we get into all of that, let's just do a quick bridge into the history of the G-Shock, a bit of the line, a bit of the Casio, just to add a bit more depth to this review. Otherwise, feel free just to spin on, that's not a problem, but we'll just go into the Casio a bit first, and then we'll get to my review of the watch.
The GA2100 series launched in 2019 and quickly shook up the G-Shock world. Nicknamed the Casio by fans, it blended classic toughness with a sleek octagonal bezel, a design nod to the iconic Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. But this wasn't just about looks, it was the thinnest G-Shock ever made, at the time at least, thanks to Casio's core carbon guard structure, which made it light, durable, super wearable. Suddenly, G-Shocks weren't just chunky tanks, they were stylish, modern and street ready. The GA2100 became a gateway for new fans and existing collectors alike, an instant design hit. And since then, Casio's dropped dozens of colourways, limited editions, keeping the hype alive, all from a model that costs barely $100. One of the coolest twists on the 2100 is this, the Beach Time Night Edition. Released in 2023, it features a stealthy matte black case with soft pastel accents inspired by neon beach lights after dark. It's subtle, stylish and totally different from the loud colourways that G-Shocks are known for. The colour palette balances summer chill with streetwear vibes, making it a low-key favourite for a small number of collectors who want something unique. It's wearable in an everyday way, understated, underrated, undeniably cool, and I think one of the coolest G-Shocks to have come out in the last 5 years. Right, okay, the GA2100 Beach Time Edition. Let's get talking about the main event of this watch. As you can see from these images here, the main appeal of this watch is going to be that crystal, that orange/blue pearlescence which you get on the glass. It really, really is. I say glass, it's probably made of plastic, isn't it? But it really is an absolute attention, let's get the focus, here we go. It really is an attention grabbing thing. Even when you're not interested in the time, you find yourself trying to catch the light, see what it looks like, and it performs differently in different lights. In low lights, it sits very much as an orange, but when you get it up and above in the daylight, as you can see here, it comes through as an orangey blue. It really, really is hypnotic. The way the light plays off of this watch really is great fun. And this is, I think, one of the best things about G-Shocks, is that you can have a lot of fun with them for very, very little money. This cost me about £70, probably about $90, $100, whatever that is in US, but it's not a lot of money and a lot of fun for a very, very capable watch. 200 meters water resistant, absolutely smash it around, bulletproof, and you can get an entire collection of these, 4 or 5 of them, for less than the cost of a Hamilton Khaki King. And to me, that is amazing value. But look, I don't need to convince you about the value of G-Shocks. I mean, oh my God, there are so many videos, so many channels that have talked about how amazing G-Shocks are, and I'm actually not going to bore you senseless by doing that today. But I am going to say, go away, have a look at one of these watches, pull the trigger, I promise you won't regret it. You can have a lot of fun. That reflective plastic glass there really is great fun. Is it orange? Is it blue? Who knows? My second point I want to make about living with the GA2100 Beach Time is this is a bit of a niche reference. Now I know they still make these shoes, but I'm a 80s baby. I was brought up at the very late 80s, early 90s when I was a small child. And when I was a small child, we'd go to the beach. Now I live in England, right? So in the south of England in particular, not all, but a lot of our beaches are stony. So when you'd go to a stony beach, parents would put you in a pair of shoes that looked like this. For those of you that remember these shoes, they had a really specific feel, and yeah, that's what it is. It's not a bad thing, it's not uncomfortable. The watch is actually extremely comfortable, like all G-Shocks, very light, easy to wear, not a problem, doesn't rub, not too sweaty, great. But it's just a bit familiar, that's all. If you know, you know, you know. So whilst I've had this watch, I've done lots of things with it. I've worn it to and from the office. In my work, you can't really wear a watch a lot of the time, but we're not here to talk about that. Wore it in and around the office. I've worn it to and from work. I've worn it down the pub. I've worn it out and about. And everywhere I've worn it, I've really enjoyed it. Now, there's going to be a bit of new watch romance going on here, but I have to say, I loved the GA2100, the normal version, the one that you can see from the review I did a few weeks ago. But it never quite convinced me to buy. When I came to looking at the really bright colours, like we talked about in the history, you know, the yellows and the whites, like the new Fantastic Four, what a cool watch that is, by the way, or the daytime 2100 Beach Time, I always sort of felt that I'm not really a big bright colour sort of bloke, but to have something which is giving you pops of orange and blue whilst being black, a bit low key and a little bit injecting full of colour, I think is really, really great. This is a watch that I never see talked about on G-Shock forums or in G-Shock communities or on Watch YouTube that focuses on Casios and G-Shocks, and I really don't know why. It's a superb functioning watch. It's got a really cool basic variation on the classic design. I think it's an absolute hidden gem. For the money, you just can't miss. You really can't. It's not to say it's all perfect though. There are problems. One of the long-sighted criticisms of the 2100 series is the size of the screen. People say that it's too small and it makes it hard to read for stopwatch functions, timers, world timers and the alarm function, all that stuff. And that is true, that this reflective glass does make it slightly harder to read. But don't worry, there is the trick to move the hands out the way, which is of course you hold mode and light at the same time and the handset will move out the way. That problem remains. The problem is compounded actually by the fact that the orange or blue glass gets in the way slightly, and of course issues remain such as, is the light a bit weedy, and a few other bits and pieces that people niggle at. This watch hasn't solved any of those problems that we all put up and love about the 2100, but I think you're buying this watch for the playfulness of it, not necessarily for its functionality. If you want something highly functional, then sure, the Cube, G-Shocks or the classic 2100 might be more to your taste and to your requirements. But for me, I have watches that do all sorts of things. What I don't have is a lot of playfulness in my watch collection, and this brings that in spades, which is why, for me, I'm going with this as my favourite current 2100 in the catalogue. But look, those of you that have been following this channel for a while know at the moment I'm having a bit of a Casio romance. I think I've bought 3 in the last 2 or 3 months. I just, seem to be addicted to them. So we'll wait and see. Maybe something else will come along that convinces me I'm wrong. But for me, at the moment, it's absolute love. I strongly recommend you go out and get yourselves one. The value for money is great. You just can't miss. Really capable, really fun. Absolutely love this watch. Home run. Well done, Casio.